Alright guys, so the goal for my big talk is for you guys to get into your heads a little bit and to start processing how you've lived your life and if you're happy with the way that you've lived your life. So how I want to start things off is looking at a definition of maximize, to make the most of. So now I'm going to ask you guys a question that I want you to be mindful about while I give the rest of this presentation. And that question is, are you maximizing your time here? Or are you making the most of your time here? And I think it's very important that at our age we're being mindful of this question, because if we're not, then I believe ultimately when we're old we're going to look back and wish that we would have put more effort into life. So something that I want to talk about is time. And I think we all feel like we have a lot of time, people our age, and in reality we do, unless some crazy thing happens to us mentally or physically, we're going to be here for a while. So the point is, you can't take comfort in that and let it become something negative in your life. You have to view time as it is, and the reality of it is, it's going to go by fast. So if we aren't doing everything that we're supposed to be doing right now, then I think ultimately we're headed towards a life of regret, which is to feel sad or sorry about something that you did or did not do, or to have regrets about something. And after a lot of personal discovery and personal growth, I've personally determined that regret is the absolute worst thing that we can live with in life. The regret that we possibly had the time or the money, the resources, or simply the opportunity to do something that would have made our lives better or more comfortable, and for whatever reason we chose not to do that. And I think it's very important, like I said, that we're aware of this now. And by being aware of this, we can choose to not be passive when challenges come, and to take actions and to challenge ourselves. So this is a quote I want to share with you. It's, "You are on your way to being successful when you've done every single thing you can each day to make the next day easier for yourself." Now, this is something that my grandpa actually said to me when I was in late high school, maybe early freshman year of college. And this really resonates with me because it's got so much truth in it, If we're here on this earth, why are we not doing every single thing we can each day in order to make the next day easier? It just makes sense. And this is when I began to critically think about the effort that I was putting into my own life. And I came to the conclusion that I wasn't really satisfied with how I was spending my life. I've been putting in pretty average effort, the kind of effort that keeps your head above water, keeps you feeling content with yourself. But the reality of it is, I think a lot of us do this. I think a lot of us work at a level that isn't optimal. I think we could all put in more effort. And if we don't start doing this now, like I said, when we are older, we're going to wish we did. And when we're older, we're not going to have as much time in order to do so. So, something that I like is this quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson that says, "The only person you're destined to become is the person you decide to be." And this does two things for me. One, it reduces a lot of stress that I have about life, because you have control. You really do. I mean, if you think about it, unless something happens to you that incapacitates you mentally or physically, you kind of get a lot of control over what you're going to do and the decisions you're going to make. And the point is to use this control. Use it now while we're young, to shape and create and form the lives that we're ultimately going to look back on and be satisfied with, and feel like that we lived life to the fullest. So, hopefully you've been thinking about the question I asked you, which is, have you been maximizing your time here? Are you making the most of your time here? Now, unless you can 100% answer that question with a yes and feel great about it, then I truly believe that you have to make a change in your life. Whether that be the way you do your homework, the way you carry yourself, the way you interact with people, the way you dress, whatever it may be. If you are not satisfied with where you are in life, you have to make a conscious effort to begin making changes. And make the changes now while you still have time. So, I think one of the ultimate life hacks of life is reading books. And I say that because you can take in so much knowledge at a time from reading a book in a short amount of time. You know, imagine if we each challenged ourselves to read one book a week. That's four books a month. And, you know, in a year, that's a lot of books. That's a lot of knowledge that we're taking in. And I believe that with that knowledge comes a more broad perspective on life. And with that more broad perspective on life, we're able to accurately choose the decisions that we make. And we're able to more accurately determine how we want to behave. And so I think that for those reasons, books are the ultimate life hack and something that to a degree we should all be incorporating into our lives. Another quote that I have is from Will Smith. Being realistic is the most common path to mediocrity. Will Smith's one of my favorite actors. Really positive guy. He's got a lot of stuff on YouTube that is really inspirational. And the thing that I took from this quote is, I feel like most of us live in a very realistic world. You know, we're here at Ball State. He kind of proves that we want something more. So we're pretty realistic people. But the problem is, we're in that realistic box. And what you have to do is kind of open the lid on that box and poke your head up and look around at the world and kind of discover what you can be when you take challenges and you challenge yourself to become a better person. So being realistic is okay, but you can't let it constrain you from becoming who you really meant to be. And I think once you can determine your passion in life, this is really when you can jumpstart your life. This is when you can really get on this path. A strong feeling of enthusiasm or excitement for doing something or for doing something. Now, you'll know when you find your passion. I know it's pretty stereotypical. People say you want to be successful, find your passion. But it's really as simple as that. And you're going to know when you find your passion because it's going to be the thing that keeps you up at night. It's going to be the thing that dominates your thoughts. While someone else might think, God, that sounds horrible to be doing that. You're going to be jumping up and down, excited to be doing that. And once you can find your passion, that's really when the light bulb's going to tick. And that's really when you're going to say, okay, I know what I need to be doing here. And once you can discover that, you can really get headed onto the path for who you want to be and who you deserve to be. So, in conclusion, I want you guys to understand that right now at our age, we have a choice. There's going to be a moment in our lives when we're old, and our life is unfortunately going to come to an end. However, I think everyone is going to look back and critically think about their lives. And they're either going to come to two conclusions. One, I got by. I put in a mediocre amount of effort that kept my head above water. I got my stuff done, but really I could have challenged myself and did a lot more. Or two, you can look back and think, I lived. Every day I worked my ass off to do things and to get as much done as I could every single day. I challenged myself and I lived life to the fullest. So that's what I want to leave you with. You have that choice in life right now. When it's all said and done, do you want to say that you survived or that you lived? Thank you.